The old, dusty attic held a strange allure for Alara. It was a place where time seemed to stand still, where the air was thick with the scent of aged wood and forgotten memories. It was a place of forgotten things, of whispers and shadows, the kind of place that seemed to hold secrets just waiting to be discovered. Alara, a girl of 13 with eyes that mirrored the summer sky, often found herself drawn to its mysteries. Her curiosity was insatiable, and the attic was her favorite place to explore. One sweltering afternoon, while rummaging through her grandmother's belongings, she stumbled upon an ornately carved wooden box. It was hidden beneath a pile of old quilts, almost as if it was waiting for her to find it. It was heavier than it looked, emanating an odd warmth. The intricate carvings on its surface seemed to tell a story of their own, one that Alara was eager to uncover. Curiosity piqued, Alara lifted the lid. The hinges creaked in protest, as if they hadn't been moved in years. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay a necklace. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before, delicate yet powerful in its simplicity. A single, shimmering opal, caught in a web of silver, pulsed with an inner light. The opal seemed to glow with a life of its own, casting a soft, ethereal light in the dim attic. Alara felt an inexplicable pull towards it. It was as if the necklace was calling out to her, beckoning her to come closer. As her fingers brushed against the cool stone, a jolt surged through her, leaving a tingling sensation in its wake. It was a feeling she had never experienced before, both exhilarating and terrifying. Unbeknownst to Alara, this was the spark, the moment that would change everything. The dormant magic within her stirred, awakened by the touch of the opal. It was as if a part of her that had been asleep for years was finally waking up. Her life, once ordinary, was about to take an extraordinary turn. The attic, the necklace, the spark, they were all part of a destiny that Alara was only beginning to understand. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of her journey into a world of magic and mystery. The next day at school, Alara felt different, changed. It was as if an invisible weight had settled on her shoulders, making her hyper-aware of every little detail around her. The usual cacophony of the school hallway seemed muffled, distant. The laughter, the chatter, the slamming of lockers, all of it felt like it was happening in another world. She felt strangely detached, as if a veil separated her from the bustling crowd. It was like she was watching a movie, where everyone else was the cast, and she was merely an observer. Lost in her thoughts, she accidentally bumped into Jessica, the school's reigning queen bee, spilling orange juice all over her pristine white dress. The liquid splashed in slow motion, each droplet a tiny disaster. Jessica shrieked, her face contorted in fury. Her eyes blazed with anger, and her voice cut through the hallway like a knife. Fear coiled in Alara's stomach, a cold, slithering sensation that made her feel nauseous. She could feel the eyes of everyone around them, watching, judging. She stammered an apology, her voice barely a whisper, but Jessica was beyond reason. Her tirade grew louder, more venomous, each word a dagger aimed at Alara's heart. As Jessica launched into a tirade, Alara wished she could disappear. She closed her eyes, willing herself to vanish, to escape this nightmare. And then, she did. At first, Alara thought she had fainted. The world around her seemed to blur and fade, and she felt a strange lightness as if she were floating. But she could still see and hear everything around her. The sounds were clearer now, sharper, as if her senses had been heightened. She could see right through her own hand, like it was made of smoke. It was a surreal, almost dreamlike experience, watching her fingers dissolve into the air. The world shimmered, then snapped back into focus, except Alara was no longer visible. She was an invisible observer in a visible world, a ghost in her own life. The realization hit Alara like a bolt of lightning. She was invisible. Panic gave way to exhilaration. She watched unseen as Jessica, still fuming, stomped away. A mischievous grin spread across Alara's face. The possibilities seemed endless. She spent the rest of the day exploring her newfound ability, moving through the school like a phantom. She listened in on conversations, privy to secrets whispered in hallways. She played harmless pranks, leaving a trail of bewildered whispers in her wake. The invisible world was exhilarating, addictive. Each act, though seemingly innocuous, chipped away at the boundaries of what was right. The line between curiosity and mischief blurred. News of the strange occurrences at school spread like wildfire. Whispers of a ghost, a spirit haunting the halls, reached Alara's ears. She reveled in the fear and awe she inspired, her ego stroked by the unintended attention. One day, she overheard a group of students discussing a local legend. The legend spoke of a hidden treasure, stashed away by a notorious thief who had the power to vanish into thin air. The thief had supposedly hidden the treasure within the town's museum, a place Alara had always wanted to explore properly. An idea, fueled by her growing sense of daring, began to take root in Alara's mind. The museum stood on a hill overlooking the town, an imposing structure with an air of quiet solemnity. As night fell, cloaking the town in shadows, Alara made her move. The opal pulsed warmly against her chest, a beacon of power in the darkness. She slipped through the shadows, a wraith in the night, bypassing the museum's security with ease. Inside, the air hung heavy with the weight of history. Alara, guided by a hand-drawn map she had borrowed from the museum curator's office, navigated the labyrinthine corridors. She reached her destination, a vault, its heavy steel door a testament to the treasure it held within. The lock, a complex mechanism of gears and tumblers, proved to be no match for Alara's nimble, invisible fingers. The lock clicked open, and the heavy vault door swung open with a groan. Inside, bathed in the soft glow of emergency lights, lay the treasure, a collection of ancient artifacts, shimmering jewels, and stacks of gold coins. Alara's heart pounded. She had done it. But as she reached for a golden statuette, a wave of dizziness washed over her. The opal, once warm, turned icy cold against her skin. A voice, faint yet insistent, whispered in her ear, "Everything has a price, Alara." The weight of her actions, the potential consequences, crashed down on her. Panic surged through Alara. She stumbled back, dropping the statuette with a clatter. The noise echoed through the silent museum, loud and incriminating. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps. "Guards!" Alara's mind raced. She had to escape, but the opal felt like a dead weight on her chest. Her invisibility flickered, threatening to vanish entirely. As the guards burst into the vault, flashlights cutting through the darkness, Alara made a desperate decision. She ripped the necklace from her neck, the opal flying through the air. As the stone clattered to the floor, Alara reappeared, bathed in the harsh glare of the flashlights. The arrest was swift, the consequences immediate. Stripped of her invisibility, Alara faced the full force of the law. The judge, a stern woman with eyes that missed nothing, listened patiently as Alara, consumed by guilt and remorse, confessed everything. She spoke of the allure of invisibility, the thrill of the unseen, the intoxicating power it offered. But she also spoke of the fear, the isolation, the burden of her secret. She spoke of the realization that true connection, true belonging, could never be found in the shadows. The judge, in her infinite wisdom, recognized the remorse in Alara's heart. The sentence was lenient, focused on rehabilitation rather than punishment. The road to redemption was long and arduous. Alara dedicated herself to making amends for her actions, volunteering at the museum, returning the stolen artifacts, facing the disappointed whispers of her town. She learned the hard way that true power lay not in manipulating others, but in understanding and accepting oneself. The experience left an indelible mark on Alara. She carried the lessons of invisibility with her, a constant reminder of the seductive nature of power and the importance of wielding it responsibly. And though the opal was gone, its magic lingered, a faint echo in the back of her mind, a reminder of the unseen forces that shape our lives. Years later, Alara stood before a classroom of eager young faces, a place where she felt both the weight and the joy of her journey. She had become a history teacher, sharing her love for the past, for the stories etched in stone and whispered through time. Each artifact she discussed, each ancient ruin she described, was a portal to another world, a world where lessons from the past could illuminate the present. But woven into her lessons were subtle warnings, cautionary tales about the allure of power, the importance of empathy, the enduring strength of honesty. She spoke of ancient civilizations that rose and fell, of leaders who were both revered and reviled, and of the timeless human quest for meaning and connection. She never spoke of her own experiences, but her students sensed a hidden depth in her words, a silent understanding that resonated deeper than any textbook could. They felt the weight of her unspoken stories, the silent battles she had fought, and the wisdom she had gained. Elara, the girl who once craved invisibility, had found a different kind of power. The power of her voice, her story, her invisible legacy woven into the fabric of the lives she touched. Her influence was like an invisible thread, connecting her to her students, to the past, and to the future, creating a tapestry of shared knowledge and understanding that would endure long after she was gone.